just as a quick exercise, raise your hand if you've ever used dating apps. Okay, for anyone who can't see, it's pretty much everybody. Joshua, 31. Do not need anyone to come hunting with me. You don't have to ride through cows with me. You don't even have to come hike with me. I'll be the man. You be the girly girl. I just need the tax write-off. They're killing me. Hank, 30. You gotta be able to take a joke to hang. I've currently got 2 houses and hope to have 10 by the time I'm 45. Going for that slumlord life. Not a huge fan of makeup. Keep it natural. Your vibe attracts your tribe. Haven't even started yet. Blake. Blake, 31. You could do a lot worse than me. I own a small construction company and a few rental properties, and I'm an amateur magician. Henry, 29. Don't expect me to pay for dinner or anything. Only here to hook up, and you can buy your own drinks. Just a reminder. Dominic, 28. I have a girlfriend, but I'm not deleting my profile in case she leaves me. Hi, my name is Vera, and I've been single for 83 days. For the record, I'm not counting. I just happen to know that. Up until now, I've been in back-to-back relationships for 5 years, which means I totally missed out on the whole Tinder revolution, so I'd never used dating apps before. But now, everybody uses them. So as a writer and editor who talks about dating and relationships, now felt like a really good time to do some research, now that I'm single. So just like any other time I make a important life decision, I went to my Instagram stories and told my followers what I was up to, as one does. And per their request, I downloaded Hinge, Bumble, Raya, and The League, and I began my quest to understand dating apps and why people use them. So far, I have a lot of notes, and I'm going to use this as an opportunity to air some grievances. 1, group photos. Why are you using those on dating apps? I have seen so many guys, like, this is one person's dating app, but every single photo is like 7 people. And I feel like I'm like freaking Sherlock Holmes going through all of them trying to find like the one guy who's the common denominator in all of the photos. And I have spent so much time doing it. Like, I'll get to the 3rd photo, I'm like, okay, this is the same guy as that guy and that guy, but then he's not in the 4th photo. So then I'm like, oh wait, that's the best friend. Now I have to start all over again. And I don't really know why people do this. Apparently women do this too. Apparently everyone does this, so just do not use group photos. And don't use photos where you're wearing sunglasses, because that also makes no sense. There's another trend I've noticed, which is guys posing with supermodels awkwardly. I don't know why they have these photos or how they had these opportunities, but like it'll be like them like posting like this, like they're really good friends with this person, and then the model's just like trying to get really far away from their breath. And I kind of have been thinking about why they do this, and I realize I think they think that the supermodels are my heroes. Like if I were to post a picture of myself with like LeBron James, that's a sign that I know like what guys like sports. So I don't know, it's weird, don't do it. There are also some red flags I've picked up on. A lot of it has to do with profession. Number 1 red flag is if it just says entrepreneur. I don't know what that means. I do not know what that means. Another red flag in the profession department is CEO. Of what? Say another one, founder. Again, of what? What did you find? They never list it. So there's a lot of research that goes into this, I've learned. It's not just the dating app profile, you have to spend some time. Some people feel like they need to talk to a person for like anywhere from like a couple weeks to a couple months before they'll meet them. I know people who have phone calls. I haven't done this, but apparently it helps you feel more comfortable meeting them. The other method, which I've tried, is you just go for the date after like exchanging a couple messages because you feel like you need chemistry. My first date that I went on I mean, my first day was actually the shortest date of my life, which tells you how this is going to go. I met this guy for a drink, and I get to the bar, and I sit down next to him, and I immediately notice there's like a huge hole in the elbow of his suit jacket, or his inner jacket, and I kind of like pointed it out and made a joke, and he was like, "Oh yeah, that's for my ferret." And I said, "Come again?" And he said, "Yeah, sometimes I wear this jacket on stage. I'm actually an amateur magician." And I don't know how anyone else feels about magicians. I'm very against them in general. So for me personally, it was a no-go, but also the fact that you had a ferret, like the most demon pet of all, is like already, like that's not a good sign. So I had to leave immediately. I just said I was really allergic to ferrets and this was never gonna work. So that was an example of me not doing my research, and his profession, by the way, was entrepreneur, so I had no idea he was a magician. The next guy, I did a lot of research. He was a doctor. He had a golden retriever, which I only knew because I found him on Facebook, so I already knew about the golden retriever before he told me. We had some mutual friends. I asked them about him. They were like, "He's great." And I was like, "Cool," like, you know, the checklist that moms approve, like doctor, dog, friends like him, he's tall. So I go and I meet him for coffee, because, you know, his height is listed on his dating app profile. So I go and meet him for coffee. It's a great, like, hour and a half long date, and he's like, "Oh, do you want to meet my dog? I have one." And I was like, "Oh, you do?" "Yes, I would love to meet your dog." And he was like, "I live like a couple blocks away." So I go to his apartment to meet his dog. It's 2:30 p.m. on a Saturday, and it turns out that he didn't really want me to meet his dog, because after 5 minutes of playing with his dog, he says, "So do you want to go to bed?" And it's 2:30 p.m. And I was like, "No, I don't." And he was like, "So then why did you come up?" And that was an example of me doing my research. So then I left, and then I sent him a text message, and I was like, "Sorry that this isn't going to work out. Thank you so much." By the way, I shouldn't have apologized, but I totally did because, you know, women. And then I moved on to the next person. That was my second date, really bad. Third date, go and meet this guy, Taylor, who is a very successful painter. I met him on a Sunday night, and we spent about 2 hours talking. There was zero chemistry, and he was wearing fingerless gloves, so I already knew it was doomed. And you know, at the end of the night, he asked if I wanted to be walked home, and it was kind of late, so I appreciated it. And then as he got to my door, he tried to kiss me, which prompted me to realize he was on a totally different date than I was, because there was no way I wanted to kiss him. And so then I asked my friends, you know, what do I do? Because the last guy that I texted that I didn't want anything to do with him anymore, he got really mad and basically berated me. So this time my friends were like, "You know what? You had one bad date. You don't have to say anything." So I was like, "Okay, cool." By the way, this is called ghosting, in case people don't know the term ghosting. I finally ghosted my first guy. It was a disaster because he texted me after our date on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. And here's the text that he sent me after a few short ones. "I know you're a busy one. Me too. A little surprising if total ghost is how you communicate that you'd rather not hang out. I felt like we had barely scratched things on the surface. I do believe in ethical non-monogamy, and I'm not trying to pressure you for anything more than you're wanting for. Don't feel that you need to keep me at a distance so I don't become clingy. I'm not demanding anything from you or anyone that isn't flowing naturally. We talked a little about the nature side of things. I'm not interested in swimming against currents or forcing things against their inclinations. I think you're very sexy, and I felt a natural kind of ease with the way that we talked. I left feeling optimistic about you and was really happy we met. I'll be sorry if that's not the case." It was not the case. And I said, "I'm sorry," or no, I didn't say I'm sorry. I said, "I didn't mean to insult you by not responding. We had a good conversation, and I'm happy to know you. I felt that letting you know that I wasn't interested might be a bit excessive." He said, "Not responding at all isn't what it is to be a friend. That just communicates buzz off. That just feels excessive to me. I don't feel entitled to date everyone I go on a date with. Just being friends is okay with me. I felt kind of a connection with you, but if you're only interviewing for a boyfriend and nothing else, then say that as well." To which I said, "Wow, this is pretty aggressive. I don't need to explain myself, and to be honest, I feel pretty attacked, despite doing nothing wrong. It's incredible how patronizing you've decided to be without knowing anything about my intentions. I didn't feel any chemistry, and I'm surprised that you did. The way that you're reacting is exactly why most women feel safer and more comfortable not saying anything that might upset a man. He then ghosted me. So, based on my experience, online dating is another reason why I shouldn't meet with or talk to any new men, because I don't know if they're going to take it as an invitation to scare or harass me. So, quick reminder, if I am ignoring you at a party or on the street, I'm not being rude. I'm just trying to practice self-preservation. So, after all of these experiences, my final question was, is it worth it? And to be honest with you, I've had mostly bad experiences, as you can tell, but it's given me a lot of content to work with, which is cool. And even with all of that, my answer is still yes, it is worth it, because I feel like at the end of the day, that feeling of like finding out that you love the same band as someone else, even if you're not gonna get married or anything, that's really exciting, and that to me is worth it. And the feeling of being excited about someone new is worth it. Like, you know the feeling when you find something that might destroy you if it doesn't work out, and just the thrill of that, like that is worth it to me. And so I kind of have realized that hope is when you don't owe someone anything and you still treat them with tenderness and respect, which does happen. And that hope is what has made everything worth it to me in this journey of dating apps. Thank you.